5 of the most dangerous prisons in the world. That's what I'm going to be talking about in this episode, people. Because a few people have, or a few of me subscribers have said, could you do a breakdown on some of the world's most dangerous prisons? So I put this into my AI model and see what it would bring up, see what it would fetch up. So I'm going to share the screen and go through them. It did bring up 6, but I'm only going to talk about 5 of them because these 5 that are in the top, I do believe, are the most dangerous. Now, I have done more in-depth ones quite a while back about some of these prisons, but I'm just going to do a quick run over of the 5 most dangerous prisons in the world. But if you do want a full in-depth of each prison, do let me know in the comment section, people, and I'll be sure to do it. But before we go any further, hit that like button, people, hit that subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss another video. So, the most dangerous prisons in the world. Now, this one, Black Dolphin. If you haven't seen the documentary, go and have a look at it. It is absolutely fucking definitely the worst prison in the world. It is absolutely horrific. 2 seconds while I get that on, people. So, as you can see there, that is how the prisoners are escorted around the prison. Hands shackled behind their backs and they are bent over before they even leave the cell. Then their arms are pushed up behind their backs whilst they're getting transported or escorted to wherever they are going. And those are the brutal cages inside of the prison. Well, like I say, if you haven't seen the documentary, it is definitely worth a look. Some of the prisoners in there are absolutely horrific, proper, brutal murderers that are inside of that prison. Cannibals. There's a cannibal who ate parts of his friend, put him in a pan, and did give some to the neighbors. Sounds a bit like Jeffrey Dahmer. But I don't think anyone has ever escaped from Black Dolphin Prison because of the high security measures that are in place, and it is shoot to kill on sight if anyone tries to escape. And that is what I'm talking about there when they're getting escorted around the prisons. Dogs barking and arms bent up behind their backs. And the reason why they do that is because when they've got them in that sort of maneuver, there is no way you can do anything because a slight push up of them arms up behind the back is the most excruciating pain they can endure. So that inmate there, I can't remember his name from the documentary that I watched. He is the one that ate some of his friend's remains, I believe. And that is the cells. Some of them are single cells, but some of them they are sharing. Believe it or not, sharing. Cannibals sharing cells with each other. But that is all they have for company. So I don't believe they would do anything to get put in a one-man cell because sometimes they get 10 minutes out of their pad if they are lucky per day. So having a cellmate is a luxury for them because they have no other human contact. And there is the infamous Black Dolphin outside of the prison. So, people, as you can see on the screen, CECOT Mega Prison, El Salvador. Now, this is a prison that was built with the help of the USA's funding, I do believe, to house all these criminals who are gang members. So, where we are, that is the outside looking in. It is a massive mega prison, the biggest prison in the world, or houses the most prisons in the world. Now look at the conditions that they are held in there. That is some overcrowding. Wow, look at how many people are in that cell there. Absolutely ram-packed. And that is how they are kept, tied by the hands and their legs, so they cannot do anything or harm anybody else inside the prison. And the military-style guards that are armed 24/7 with their shields, they keep them prisoners under control 24/7. And look at that. I'll just zoom in a little bit more. How many people are ram-packed in that cell? Wow. I've never seen a cell like that before. That is absolutely fucking mental. And they don't have any mattresses either. They just lie on their beds. Well, we couldn't call that a bed, could we? They just lie. So there it is. Holds tens of thousands of gang members, no mattresses, no comfort, built to crush gangs like MS-13. One of the largest prisons ever built. Now, yes, that would definitely crush gang members, but what are they trying to achieve from that? Yes, they're keeping them off the streets, but housing them like that together inside of that cell with no mattresses, that is absolutely fucking inhumane conditions. But they aren't us. They've got them off the streets because they were causing havoc on the streets, committing murders, and hundreds were murdered every day over in El Salvador. So, on to the third one, which is ADX Florence in the USA. Now, I've heard about this prison as well, known as the Alcatraz of the Rockies. Inmates spend 23 hours a day alone, holds terrorists and the most dangerous offenders, designed so no one escapes. Now, this is what I thought would have been the same treatment, or not treatment. That's it from the outside there. Looks like it has a few different sites because they have one there, one over here, and a one down here, which has got a lot of housing units. That is a massive prison. But that's the conditions I thought the ones in Black Dolphin, who are also terrorists and murderers, cannibals, serial killers. You would have thought they were kept in that sort of conditions as well, because they'll probably end up eating their cellmates. But look at that pad. That is a basic pad, a shithole. And that, like I've just said, is a basic pad. In the UK, that's what a pad down the block looks like. When you get sent down the block, that's the type of cell that you are chucked in, so that you can't use anything for your weapon. Oh, he's got a mattress there. A little bit of comfort, but again, look at the stair, the concrete furniture, so that nothing can be used as a weapon. And there's another aerial shot of the sites. And that is the housing units from the inside. There's the control units. So prisoners are unlocked by the central office. There is no keys to the doors. They just press the buzzer and the doors open, so the guards don't have to go anywhere near them. So number 4, La Santé Prison, France. Known for harsh conditions and overcrowding, reports of violence and mental strain, one of Europe's toughest prisons. La Santé. Now, it does look like it's been built quite a long time ago. Just zoom out a second. There we go, so you can see it properly, people. That is the outside of it. It looks like, I've just said, built a very long time ago. Looks like a Victorian-style prison, what they have in the UK. The cells don't actually look too bad. It looks quite clean and quite neat, but obviously the guards, you can see there, it looks as though, let me zoom in, looks as though they're armed and they do have bulletproof vests. And that's what the UK staff, the UK guard screws have been calling for, because they get attacked on a regular basis as well. And there, that pad doesn't actually look too bad for a tough prison. It looks as though they have a shower unit in there, and they've got a single pad. They've got the table, the bed, TV, and what's that above the TV? It looks like something else, but it doesn't look like a really, well, it's not bad for a pad, if we're honest. But it's not just about the cells, it's about what happens inside the prison and actually how tough it is. And that has been described as one of the most toughest prisons in Europe. And with it being in France, there is, as you can imagine, fucking hundreds of illegal migrants that have went into the country illegally, because it's easy to get into the places like France from other countries, because obviously there is no water to cross like they do into the UK, across the channel. They just walk straight across the border and into France. So number 5, this one is probably the worst that I've actually seen for overcrowding. Gitarama Prison, Rwanda. Built for a few hundred, and it holds thousands. Extreme overcrowding. One of the most overcrowding prisons ever recorded. Right, I'll zoom in so we can have a good look at this, people, and zoom out so you can see it properly. But look at that. That is what you call caged like a fucking animal. And the majority of them probably are animals for some of the crimes that they have committed. But wow, look at that. Fucking hell, that is extreme overcrowding. Imagine the stench coming from inside of there. Now, some of them faces, if you have a look, they can't zoom in any further, but some of these inmates actually look quite young. I'm not sure exactly what age range that is from, but fucking hell, if that is extreme overcrowding. And like I've said, imagine the stench that is coming from all of those bodies that probably don't get washed very often, because overcrowding like that, I can imagine they're probably using buckets and water. That's if they ever get much of it. Looks as though they do have mattresses, but imagine the stench from those mattresses as well, and how many times they've been used. Look at that. That is absolutely fucking outrageous, keeping them prisoners held in conditions like that. Their mental health must be suffering to the extreme. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the fucking medication queue to give them more medication to cope with those conditions, because that is extreme. And you can imagine the sweat that comes off these prisoners, because Rwanda is an extremely hot place. So that is some difficult, extreme conditions right there, people. But that, people, was some extreme prison overcrowding. 5 of the worst prisons in the world. Oh, that is just on the fucking... That is just a tip of the iceberg of what some of the world's worst prisons look like. But if you do enjoy this type of content, people, and you want to see the world's toughest prisons, do let us know in the comments section. But I will also do some of the UK's toughest prisons as well, do some coverage and show you some visuals. But I did this story for a Facebook post, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to broadcast this on here and let you all know what type of prison overcrowding happens around the world. But I'm going to leave that one there for now, people. Hopefully you are still enjoying the content. And if you are, remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe.